Yeah. Come on, talk to me. That's the one. Come talk. I know you do. Yeah, I understand. I get it.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know. Should I ask you what we asked?
Oh, there's Helen.
Yeah. I plug it in. It powers my electric.
And just
We go to events. I don't necessarily have power, but also has like a jumper. So like one of my colleagues,
where are you?
one day when they start starting, his wife starts up and I like, oh, batteries. I got you. I got a box. Jumper box. It's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen it there. Menards.
Okay, it's double.
Oh yeah, it's a heavy piece. Jumper cable. It has an air compressor in it. And so it's a little all-in-one like tool. Is you plug it in the office before like the events. That's cool. Yeah. Yep. It comes in very handy. We should do an event at a building that's being redone. Plug it in.
2, 1. How you doing, buddy? All right. How you doing? Great. Yeah. The number. Big old leak that.
Yeah.
Takes less room up.
Yep. Easy greasy edge. Ready to turn on.
Good help, huh?
I'll turn the mic down and leave them out.
That's fun.
What were you waiting on? I'm just gonna, as soon as they're ready, I'll turn on the. I'm just gonna.
Move right along. I got you. 2 here, 1 here. Same up here. Waiting for long. Actually, grab him or whatever you get. Yeah.
We're going to get going very shortly here, like 3 minutes. Looks like I have everyone here that I was expecting. Obviously, this place is busy and active and in use. That will continue throughout our program today. They will not be pausing operations while we go through this. I see microphones up on here, but we might need to raise our voices a little bit more if we're asking questions to the folks up here because we have so much else going on. For anyone I didn't mention to, I'm Danny Wimmer. I'm the Attorney General's press secretary. We are going to have prepared remarks today. We'll be going through 4 speakers: Attorney General Dana Nessel, Lansing Mayor Andy Schor. From the Michigan Farmers Market Association, we will have Amanda Shreve. That's Shreve. And from our host here, LMTS, we have Community Outreach Services, Josh Gillespie. We're going to go through all 4 speakers. Go back to the Attorney General, and we'll open up for questions. You raise your hand for me, please. I will call on you. Even if I do say, Sophia, I would appreciate if you start off your question reiterating back to us your name and affiliate. Not everybody up here is going to be a familiar face or working with all of you. So I would just appreciate if they can know who they're talking to. So again, I'll call out. You guys raise your hands. Limit our follow-ups. I'll come back to you. It's not a huge group of you all here today. I will have time to come back to you. And as much as we can help ourselves, questions related to today's topics would be most appreciated. I think that's everything that I need to go through. Inside of 2 minutes, I think I'm going to be back with everybody else. Thank you. I think we're at a good spot.
Okay.
This puts out well.
Yeah.
Two. Card over here. Yeah. Hi, two here, one there. Two here. Brother. One. Oh, you. Right there. One here.
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody, for attending today. Here to announce that yesterday I joined attorneys general and governors from 25 states in requesting a temporary restraining order and filing a lawsuit against the United States Department of Agriculture and its Secretary, Brooke Rollins, for unlawfully suspending the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP program, for the duration of the federal government's shutdown. Now, I'm here today with Lansing Mayor Andy Schor, Amanda Shreve from the Michigan Farmers Market Association, and Josh Gillespie from LMTS Community Outreach Services, who help 5,000 to 8,000 people in the Lansing area each and every month through their food center, community food, holiday giveaways, and the mobile food pantries. Statistics show that 1 in 9 Americans are food insecure, and unfortunately, that's just as true here in our capital city. Now, as most of you likely know, SNAP benefits will not be paid effective November 1st, leaving 42 million Americans to wonder how they're going to put food on the table next week. Here at home, SNAP supports 1.4 million Michiganders every month. And our suit demands that the Trump administration utilize the contingency emergency funds that Congress has appropriated to ensure SNAP benefits are not interrupted. Now, right now, if you visit the USDA website, you'll be met with a shockingly political and hostile message claiming that, quote, the well has run dry, but that's a lie. The 2024 congressionally authorized appropriation bill, as well as the 2025 continuing resolution, collectively designates a reserve $6 billion to carry out program operations. And according to records from the Office of Management and Budget, as of October 2nd, it shows that these funds were still available. Additionally, as of October 8th, the USDA had $23 billion in appropriated funds under Section 32 of the Agricultural Adjustment Act of 1935, a farm subsidy program, with statutory authority to transfer these funds to other programs. And where Congress has clearly spoken to provide that SNAP benefits should continue even during a government shutdown, the USDA does not have the authority to say otherwise. Now, this pause in services will cause immediate harm to 13% of our state. And I'd like to tell you a little bit more about exactly who those people are. It's 492,225 children, 38,513 veterans. Seniors account for 36% of our recipients, and 51% of those households have a person with a disability. And despite claims that these are families who either refuse to work or are here with an illegal resident status, let me be absolutely clear that 78% of Michigan SNAP households include someone with an earned income, and every recipient must either be a U.S. citizen or have qualified non-citizen resident status. These cuts are coming on the backs of rising inflation, higher grocery bills, and soon an increase in healthcare premiums. It also follows record cuts to our food banks, who work day and night to ensure no one in our communities goes hungry, and who will be in even more demand than ever come Saturday. Food banks across the state will tell you that they have received significantly less USDA donated foods this year than in past years. Since taking office, the Trump administration has cut or paused nearly $1 billion in money to support food banks and canceled thousands of USDA produce deliveries nationwide, including a reported 3 million pounds of food that should have come to Michigan just through August. And while I believe in providing SNAP benefits as a moral issue, there's also an economic argument to make as well. The SNAP program supports over 375,000 jobs for American farmers, food distributors, and retailers as well. And every SNAP dollar spent in Michigan is a dollar in the pockets of our state's 10,000 SNAP approved retailers. And that investment will go on to create an average of $1.54 in economic activity. I imagine that's not supposed to be $1.54 in economic activity. Is that $1 million? Got it. $1.54 for every dollar spent in economic activity for the surrounding community. Thank you. These cuts force our family, friends, and neighbors to prioritize between necessities they wouldn't otherwise have to choose between. Next week, people will be forced to decide between buying groceries or filling prescriptions, or between going into work as scheduled or calling off so that they can come visit a local food bank. If you or someone you know is impacted, resources are available. Please call the United Way at 211 or find a food bank near you at fbcmich.org. The Democratic Attorneys General are doing what we can using the levers of the law to hold this administration accountable and to protect our residents. And on a personal note, I implore everyone to do all you can. If you are able, please support your local food pantry, either through monetary donations, non-perishable food items, or with your time by volunteering. If the prospect of tens of millions of Americans going hungry is not motivation enough for us to all come together and act, then I don't know what ever will be. And with that, I'd now like to turn this over to Lansing Mayor Andy Schor.
Well, thank you, Madam Attorney General. It's a hard act to follow, but thank you for your leadership. Thank you for standing up for the residents of our state and really our nation. I want to thank LMTS for inviting everybody here. You just heard a lot of the numbers, but what you're seeing to your left and your right are the reality. These are not just numbers; these are people, and they are here getting food that they need from the freezers here at LMTS. We have mobile food banks that we do throughout the city, and the food's going quickly. My understanding is in about 55 minutes they ran out of food last Saturday at the food pantry. So this is huge. November 1st, it's on the minds of everybody right now. If SNAP benefits are not provided, then what do? We know. I've been speaking with mayors from all around the country. I was talking to the mayor of Phoenix 2 days ago, and we know that it doesn't matter if you are in small city, mid-sized city, big city. We cannot make up for the power and the funding of the federal government. We don't have those kind of resources. I don't have millions of dollars sitting around in a fund that we can move. It's very, very difficult. The federal government needs to come through. And when I read in the news this morning that $8 billion is going to be going to our troops because it's extra money that they're going to use, then why the heck can't $6 billion from the USDA be used for our people that need the money? So when the Attorney General calls and says, I'm filing a lawsuit and I'm joining, I stand 100% behind her. And so do the 42,000 people in Ingham County that received SNAP benefits. It's too important. And I cannot thank the Attorney General enough for standing up for our residents. This is important. Those dollars are there. They're sitting in a fund. We need the government to open. We need to make sure that healthcare costs are not going way up. These are real important issues. But on November 1st, when we have all these people who are on SNAP benefits that are in jeopardy, it becomes a crisis. I'm excited that this lawsuit has been filed because it's taking a real action. We're doing a lot here as we hear about these impacts. Our Human Relations and Community Service Department, our Neighborhoods Department, along with several others, they're finalizing what they can do to try and help people. We're going to be doing food collection. We're going to be trying to work with our big grocers. In the past, we put bins outside of a Kroger and said, hey, when you go in and get your groceries, buy a little bit extra and put it in the bin. So we are going to do everything we can to step up. We know that there are churches that are actively collecting. I talked to a pastor yesterday who said he is going to figure out how many people within his church are on SNAP benefits and see how they need to help. So we know the community is getting involved in helping our nonprofits, our churches. We are going to step up for our residents, but none of that can match the power of the federal government, the dollars that come from the SNAP program. So we need this lawsuit to be successful. We need the government to be issuing these dollars. Walking off this cliff is just going to hurt all of the people that you see walking through here. So again, thank you to the Attorney General and her fellow attorneys general for stepping in and stepping up on behalf of our residents. This is too important to not be doing everything that we can to try and help folks. So thank you for allowing me to say a few words. Am I introducing, tell me your name again. Amanda from, she's going to speak next. Thank you. Sorry.
You're fine. Right. Well, thank you, Attorney General Nessel, for having me here today to discuss the significant challenges Michiganders will face when benefits from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, are not distributed in November. We should certainly discuss how our neighbors and community members will struggle to feed their families and how this will strain the emergency food system. But we also need to consider the impact on food retailers. I represent the Michigan Farmers Market Association, or MIFMA, which is the statewide nonprofit that places equity at the forefront of supporting the viability of community-driven marketplaces so that they can connect all consumers to the food grown right here in our state. We support and represent farmers who sell products directly to consumers and over 300 farmers markets across our state. Currently, more than 160 farmers markets accept SNAP benefits in Michigan, including one market in at least 86% of Michigan counties. Each of those markets supports an average of 16 vendors that sell SNAP-approved products, impacting at least 2,500 farmers and small business owners across the state. Because farmers markets are often located in areas where access to a full-service grocery store is limited, that means that markets are meeting an increased need for access to fresh, healthy produce, and doing so in a way that creates real economic impact for Michigan farmers and within local communities. In our state, where agriculture contributes nearly $105 billion annually to our state's economy, and where we produce more than 300 agricultural products commercially, SNAP meaningfully contributes to farmer and market viability. Perhaps no one exemplifies this more than the direct marketing farmer, the farmer who grows or produces food right here in Michigan and sells it directly to their neighbors and communities. For direct marketing farmers, accepting SNAP expands their customer base, increases their sales, and allows them to serve all members of their community. And this is not just a seasonal activity. We have more than 40 farmers markets in Michigan that operate either extended season or year-round. And they are critical markets for farmers with perishable products and value-added products who utilize season extension, infrastructure to grow produce beyond the typical production season, or store crops to extend their market season. When farmers and markets accept SNAP, they also have the opportunity to participate in Michigan's statewide nutrition incentive program called Double Up Food Bucks. More than 1,000 Michigan farmers benefit from this program annually, and since 2009, they have sold more than 30 million pounds of fresh fruits and vegetables to Michigan SNAP recipients. Sales from food assistance and nutrition incentive programs are extremely important to direct marketing farmers. In 2024, benefits utilized at Michigan farmers markets, SNAP benefits, totaled more than $1.5 million, and that earns shoppers an additional $860,000 in nutrition incentives to buy more fresh fruits and vegetables. So that's total buying power of $2.4 million in a single year. When farmers sell directly to consumers, the retail prices they get for their product allow them to retain a larger portion of the food dollar, thus amplifying those sales and contributing significantly to the viability of their operations and the livelihood of their own families. SNAP not only feeds Michigan residents, SNAP feeds our local economies, fuels our agricultural sector, supports our farmers, and protects farmland. I'd be happy to answer questions at the end, and thank you for allowing me to comment on behalf of MIFMA and farmers and markets across the state.
Amanda, can you tell us your name, your full name, your position?
My name is Amanda Shreve. I'm the Executive Director of the Michigan Farmers Market Association.
Good morning. My name is Joshua Gillespie. I'm the Executive Director for the Larry Mitchell Trice Senior Community Outreach Service. Thank you, Attorney General, for allowing me this time. Teddy Roosevelt said the test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It's whether we provide enough for those who have too little. As the director of LMTS, we feed 5,000 to 8,000 people a month through our collaborative efforts with the Greater Lansing Food Bank and the DoorDash program, through our Fresh Food Friday 2.0 and Fresh Food Friday extravaganza, through our Grace on the Go deliveries right to the neighborhoods, and to our emergency boxes for families that are in critical need in that moment. For me, today is not about politics or policy. It's about people. Every single day, right here in our community, we have children who go to school hungry, seniors who silently skip a meal, families who have the daunting task of deciphering if I'm going to pay rent or buy groceries, if I'm going to fill up my gas or fill the stomach of my babies. Helping those who are hungry is not an act of charity, it's an act of humanity. Every single day, hundreds of people walk through this door. That's why we have what we call a pantry of choice. We have them shop as if they're in a grocery store. We want to provide dignity and hope to those who at times feel less than. And so it's my responsibility. I'm not here to blame, to point the finger. I'm asking myself, what can I do to make a difference? I'm asking you, what can you do to make a difference? No one should go hungry. Not in our city, not in our state, not on our watch. It's all of our responsibilities. Before SNAP runs out, 1 in 8 people are food insecure. Before SNAP runs out, 1 in 6 children are food insecure. That's before they run out. Just on yesterday, Marissa said, Josh, I'm working 2 jobs, 5 children to feed. What am I going to do? Diane says, Josh, I don't know. It's not going to work. I need help. Do you offer rent assistance? They're making choices that maybe you don't have to make, that I don't have to make. Mother Teresa said this, if you can't feed 100, just feed one of them. This is not about politics. This is about taking care of our people. Compassion is not partisan. Compassion should always outweigh our differences. So I say, let us make a difference. I'll end with this. Cahill Gibran says, you give but little when you give of your possessions. It's when you give of yourself that you truly give. What will you give? Help out, not necessarily LMTS, help out the local food pantry. Help out your neighbor. Help out your family member. Help out your colleague, your classmate. It could be us. So thank you, Attorney General. I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you for those very passionate remarks. Well said, and also some amazing quotes that you were able to work into that really bring to light, obviously, the great importance of why we're all here and what we're doing. And thank you all for your great work. I appreciate it. I want to also introduce Neil Giovanetti from my office, who is heading up all of our federal actions, 37 cases to date. And he's been keeping very, very busy and sleeps very little. So I want to give him credit for his hard work on this case and the 36 other cases that have been filed on behalf of the state of Michigan. But with that, I'm happy to take questions.
Sorry, that's development.
Even if this lawsuit succeeds, there will likely still be a delay benefit. Do you think that the state should monetarily backfill the snaps? Such as what happened?
Yes, I do. I think this is a matter of incredible importance. And while we all understand the great importance of spending money in the various different ways in which money has been allocated, I can't think of anything more important than feeding people and making sure that people don't go hungry, making sure that people don't starve to death. So yes, I would encourage the governor and the state legislature to find a way, and we know that there are ways available to them, to make sure that people are being fed during the government shutdown.
Hey, Sheldon Krause, 910 News, Attorney General, kind of on the lawsuit front. Just wondering, you say this, see, just if you feel that kind of, it's being used as potentially in this discussion about the shutdown.
So your question is whether or not food benefits or SNAP assistance is being used as a political pawn. I mean, look, I support the Democratic senators in the United States Senate that are holding out to ensure that people can actually afford their health insurance. And we know that there are going to be significant numbers of people that without those ACA subsidies simply will not be able to afford to be insured and to receive medical care anymore. That's a really serious issue. And so I absolutely understand why they're doing it. But at the same time, there is no reason for people who are eligible to receive SNAP benefits to not receive it. That is the exact reason for this contingency fund. And so I think that, the Trump administration is, playing with people's lives here and holding this money hostage intentionally when that does not have to happen. We have the money. If we have the money, we have $300 million to build a new ballroom at the White House. We have $172 million for Kristi Noem's new private jets. And if we have all the money in the world, frankly, to pay ICE to, frankly, snatch people off of our city streets who are not posing a danger to our communities, then certainly we can come up with this money to feed hungry people. And again, in the state of Michigan, we're talking about, for the month of November, $254 million. There are so many different ways where we can come up with that money to make sure that people aren't going hungry. I think it's a moral imperative that we do so.
Let's talk about awarding the service. I'm just wondering on the House status proposals that goes now. Do you think that there's motivation to pass that legislation? Since in general, a lot of legislation is not good, and there are no Republicans like that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to that. I can say I hope that those bills will move. I think it's important that those bills move. Is there an appetite by the speaker? You'll have to ask him that question. But as I have indicated, I think it's really important that we make sure that people are not going hungry.
Wondering with the federal government not taking its posture, how important is this lawsuit to get it?
Well, I think it's incredibly important. I mean, we absolutely have to free up this money. And of course, the longer the shutdown goes on, I see Trump globetrotting all over the world, meeting with world leaders in Asia and in Europe and all over the place. But who I don't see him meeting with are the Democrats. And I don't know why they can't sit down get together, work out these incredibly important issues that the Democrats have highlighted, so that we can get this all worked out. I don't know that what he's doing in the foreign stage is more important than what's happening in the domestic front right now, and people going hungry in our own backyards. Many people who voted for him, by the way.
Hi, Bobby Michigan. Questions for you about, you mentioned before that this meeting people is about making the world good, and Josh mentioned this is about politics. Politics is more about meeting people and policy. On that, the government website, USDA website, where it says specifically that Democrats have refused to vote on this, and saying the well has run up. And you mentioned before that talking about how it being a little bit of a political piece. Do you think that it causes a little bit more division putting that out there on an official government website? Look at and see every single day.
Absolutely, I do. And what I've seen is a concerning trend that, frankly, in many instances, is a flagrant violation of the Hatch Act, where we see government resources. We most recently saw this in airports all around the country, where you have, Secretary Noam, who is, or the Director Noam, Secretary Noam, thank you, who is blaming the Democrats for issues at the airports. We see it all the time. We've seen it since you had Elon Musk hawking, Tesla vehicles at the White House. It's not appropriate to use tax dollars for political messaging in this manner that is so flagrant. But what we're saying here is we just want the USDA to follow the law. It's not about politics. It's about feeding hungry people, which should be a bipartisan issue and effort. And we know that the law affords for this contingency money to be utilized to backfill any of these issues in regard to SNAP. So we just want the administration to do one thing here, and that is follow the law so that people can continue to receive their SNAP benefits.
Shutdown seems to have been an insight. These contingency funds are limited. And so even if your lawsuit is successful and you're able to get these contingency funds released, when those run out, are there other options that you're considering? Future plans that this extended to December or January?
Well, we want to deal with first things first, right? And that's this specific bucket of money that we know is sitting there and we know should probably be used for this purpose. I hope that the government shutdown doesn't continue past November into December. If so, there are a million different places that the government can choose. If of course, there's a supplemental and Congress decides that they want to shift money around, they can do that. But at this point, we're dealing with the month of November and this particular pot of money. And again, I know that $254 million may sound like a lot of money, but considering money that is available, with the federal government and that also in the state government, it's money that absolutely has to be spent. And I have seen so many different frivolous ways in which our tax dollars have been spent. This is not one of them.
You probably should see this local context of this moment in the last government shutdown, and it's like this is an issue.
I'm so sorry. Can you just raise your voice a little bit?
Context for this moment and how this has been handled in past.
Yeah, I don't have the answer to that question. Does anybody know how this has been handled in the past?
I don't think we've ever gone this far. I want to say the longest shutdown is something like 28 days.
Second longest shutdown. The last time there was, sorry, our understanding is the second longest federal government shutdown, at least in recent memory. And in the past times, there was enough funding available, and the USDA was agreeing to move money around to make SNAP benefits continue to be available. And up until earlier this year, it was very clear from SNAP that USDA's own policy, that they would take these actions to move money around to make sure SNAP benefits could continue. This is just a very recent change that the federal government has made a decision to stop federal SNAP benefits, even though the contingency funds are available.
Back to Paula, I have one more. This one that's follow. I'm wondering if you know how we expect the courts to move on this.
There is a hearing tomorrow. At what time?
10 or 11.
Yeah, so there's going to be a hearing tomorrow. This was filed in a district court in Massachusetts. So far, the Department of Justice, I believe, has not filed a response to this at all. We are asking for a temporary restraining order, and the judge will be hearing that matter tomorrow morning. I'm hopeful that we'll have a decision as soon as possible.
Thank you. We'll close out with Bobby, Channel 10. Bobby, you joined this lawsuit with, I believe, it was 21 other attorneys general. Do you believe when there are that many that come together for a lawsuit of such importance of this one, that there can be real change made? You have so many states going against the administration.
We've had a lot of success in our lawsuits. Now, what we're seeing, there's a combination of ways that these are being resolved. One is that sometimes because we have such powerful arguments and the administration has such weak arguments, if they have any viable arguments at all, oftentimes the administration just drops the matter altogether and does not move forward with whatever the federal action is that we find to be so harmful or injurious to our states. But much of the time we are getting immediate relief because there is irreparable harm that is done to our states and the people of our states. Very often we'll get a TRO, we'll get a preliminary injunction. And so while the case is pending, at least the harm doesn't continue during that portion of the proceedings as we're moving forward on the merits. So, we've seen that time and time again. I will say that we, had a case involving the birthright citizenship case. And it's named the CASA case, where it was made very clear that if you are not a party to the lawsuit, then you will not receive the benefits of the injunction. And what I see in a case like this is, I don't know how good conscience anyone who is representing any state, and the Republican AGs, I don't know how they don't join a lawsuit like this, knowing that their people are going hungry as well. But what we see oftentimes now is that if the Democratic AGs who have brought these suits and participated in these suits, if they're successful, oftentimes the administration will just drop whatever it is they're doing because they don't want a situation where just the states represented by Democratic AGs receive the benefit and the states represented by Republican AGs don't. So I'm hopeful that we'll be successful and that hopefully pretty soon this money can be utilized to help people who are SNAP recipients in all 50 states. Thanks, everyone.